Hello again, everybody. My name is Antonio Sangio. I practice and teach introspective hypnosis. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on where you're connecting from in the world. Today, I have the pleasure of having here with us Heidi Wilson. Heidi is from Des Moines, Iowa. Hello, Heidi. Welcome.
Hi,
Thank
good
you.
to have.
Thank you. And Heidi, the reason why I wanted to do an interview with Heidi is because it's going to be something different to the other interviews you might have seen in my channel. Heidi took my introspective hypnosis class. Do you remember which month this was in,
I
Heidi?
think I think it was it January?
Is it January? Okay.
January or February, one of those.
Right. Okay.
Maybe into January, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's been a few months, and at this point, I really don't want to ask about the class. I've been doing interviews and asking people about the class, so it's the same thing over and over and over. What was different about Heidi is that during the class, before teaching inductions, let me connect well to the camera, position well. Okay, here we are. So before teaching inductions, I always try to have the people in the class experience what trance feels like, right? Because in my opinion, once you understand how the inductions work and you try to have a hypnosis session, it might not have the same effect because you already know what's coming next, right? So there's no surprise factor. So in that exercise, I noticed the Heidi went into a trance fast and easy and deep. You know?
Mhm.
And what's more, when we finished that exercise, as I continued teaching the class, I noticed that sometimes I was putting my voice in a kind of a slow rhythm, but that's because that's the way I'm doing it already. I already trained my voice to do that. And when I was doing that, I could see that Heidi was starting to go into a trance again. So that's what I noticed. She has that ability. After some time, we just got together for a few people to the class, and we did a kind of a sample session, and we used Heidi as the subject for that sample hypnosis session, and it went beautifully. I mean, it was a good learning experience for everybody. But I felt that deep inside, Heidi still had a lot of things to work on. So that's why I offered her a session, another session, this time a full session, you know. And that is in my YouTube channel, number 80 in my channel. Okay. And that session was a little bit different. Um, and I don't want to say more about it. So, Heidi, don't you start by telling us what issues you brought to the session? What is it that you wanted to work on during the session? And
Mhm.
then we'll talk about what we found. Okay?
Well, basically, I never really worked with my phobias. It was always past lives or other things that I needed to
Mm-hmm.
work on or whatever would come in a session.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I have been claustrophobic for quite some time.
Okay.
And as I've gotten older, it's gotten worse.
Worse? Okay.
And so that was one thing that you had asked if I had any phobias.
Any
And
phobias?
um,
Do you remember more or less how far back this comes from? The when you were claustrophobic?
um, pretty far back.
Okay.
But I just feel as I got older, um, I could not go into more closed spaces,
Mm-hmm.
even going through mazes or even in the airplane.
Mm-hmm. I understand that.
I
Okay.
just, something took over me. And
Mm-hmm.
it was an anxiety that I had. And I kind of put it in the back of my mind, thinking,
Okay.
well, no, this is normal. But I had no idea uh, this would come up.
Mm-hmm.
It was even when I had looked back watching it, I was
Mm-hmm.
amazed on everything, and not only experiencing what was going on and feeling,
Hmm.
I also realized I had another phobia that we didn't talk about, and that was understanding who I was
I
and
see.
becoming that.
Okay.
So that opened that up as well.
And let's stop for a second so everybody understands what we're talking about. When you said I had no idea what we were going to find out. What is it that we found out during the session? That we found during the session, your
Mhm.
session.
Well, when we went into the session, I was actually in a enclosed. I couldn't understand exactly where I was at first,
Mm-hmm.
but as I started, it was almost like I put myself on the outside, so I started seeing, and I was having a little bit of anxiety in the session, as you know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and did a wonderful job of controlling that. And
Thank
once
you.
you had said, you don't have to, you can just observe and you don't have to
Mm-hmm.
feel. It was like now I was actually watching,
Mm-hmm.
and I was experiencing being enclosed and trapped in a tomb.
In a tomb, right? Okay.
I could see, I could feel kind of what the tomb was like, but I also saw, which is kind of crazy. I mean, I don't want to say crazy, but
Okay.
another, um, it looked like it was half human.
Okay.
Um,
Right.
and,
So before you say that, let's
mhm,
give everybody the framework. You went you went back to a time in Egypt. This was
yes,
Egypt, and the tomb
yes.
was in Egypt. And you saw this being that was half human, half what?
Well, to me, it looked like the eyes of maybe a snake or a lizard.
Okay.
I don't even know
Mm-hmm.
how to explain that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it just, I knew that it was not the same as what I was.
Okay.
And whatever it was, it did not like what I had
Mm-hmm.
internally. The ability to see things through
Mm-hmm.
telepathic,
Okay.
to feel things, to know things on what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't want me alive.
I
It wanted
see.
me dead.
Okay. And if you have read a little bit about Egypt or seen the graphics that they have there, they describe beings like the ones that you mentioned, right? Kind of half snake or and a lot of people know that Egyptians had contact with people from or beings from other planets.
Hmm.
We have found that in history, and we have found that out in through other sessions. I mean, people from other countries, other cultures, other languages, they all come back with the same kind of information. So the experience that you had was with one of those. And the story is that he did not want you alive because you had an ability, which was
Was it a sixth sense,
sixth
a
sense.
telepathic
You,
ability. And keep in
mhm,
mind, I don't do a lot of research.
mhm,
I'm not a book reader. I don't. I meditate a lot, and
mhm,
I just allow whatever things to come through me.
mhm,
And so I honestly don't know a whole lot about Egypt.
mhm.
Um,
Uh, and,
so
and it's fine because a lot of people question what they see in this kind of regression videos. It's like, oh, it's her mind, or she's making this up, or she's imagining things. But people that will watch that video will hear you how you were breathing. You were
yes,
there. You were reliving that moment. You were having, I don't want to say a hard time, but you had to go through that to experience that to remember who you were.
right.
And so it was not your imagination at all.
No. In fact, I'm getting chills right now as we talk.
Okay. Okay.
So this is a sign that and I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but I've always had chills within my body, and I could never figure out what that was.
Mm-hmm.
And this helped me understand a little bit more on why that was
Mm-hmm.
coming as well, after
Mm-hmm.
having this session.
Right.
And so that's what I'm talking about also, of opening up another part of me that I have always been afraid
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
I would be judged, that I was crazy, that
Mm-hmm.
growing up Catholic, you can't open up to this.
Right.
This is not right.
I see.
So, but yes, I mean, it was. I was feeling everything. And not only through the session, I actually felt in the room that I was, because I did this in my house,
Mm-hmm.
I felt very cold, like something was around me
Mm-hmm.
as we were doing the session.
You know why that is, right?
Well, I have a feeling that if there was something there with me,
Yeah,
I don't know. I could feel that, and I felt like I was in an ice cooler. I was very
I see.
cold.
Okay.
Hmm.
What happens is that time does not exist. I have explained this before. Past, present, and future is that not exist. Linear time does not exist. That is a creation of our brain in order to understand time. But the truth is that everything is happening at the same time. Whenever we put somebody in a trance and we take that person to a we might call it past life to understand it, right? But it
Hmm.
is happening at that time. You're there and you're here, and it's a different dimension. Yes, and you felt that because maybe the being that was there was in the same space in your house, but nothing was going to happen this time.
Right.
And again, because there's no time, the subconscious mind doesn't know anything about past, present, or future.
Hmm.
Whenever you experience something like what you mentioned, being in a plane, being in an elevator, your subconscious mind remember that event in that tone and make you react the same way because for the subconscious mind, everything is happening now. You know? So that is the reason why you were experiencing that before.
Hmm.
So, so good. So we found that out, right? We dealt with that past life, with that scene, and your body died in that life.
Yes.
And we also did something else at the end of the session. We connected to somebody that was not in good health. You didn't know anything about it.
Hmm.
A colleague of ours had asked me for this connection, and I didn't give any details to Heidi. I knew some way I knew somehow I knew that Heidi had the ability to connect to other people. So we tried this, and Heidi was not able to describe what the other person was experiencing. She was able to feel what the other person was feeling, which was amazing. To me, it was a confirmation, but for her, it was like something different, totally different. So two things happened. We were able to deal with the phobia, and something awakened within you after the session. You want to tell us about it?
So about what had happened in the session after my.
Right after your session,
Okay.
and
Yes.
even your video is in my channel. After the session, you had to,
Hmm.
I think it was a scan. You need an was a scan, ultrasound?
Okay. So, oh yes, the MRI.
MRI, I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay. Yes. So I had to have an MRI,
Mm-hmm.
and as you know, I don't know if you've ever had one, but
Oh,
you're
yeah.
encapsulated
Yeah.
in this huge machine, and so I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can do this,
Okay.
and I had to be in there for a half hour. And so, she's pulling me through, and I closed my eyes, and within seconds, I could open my eyes. I was fine. I had no
Mm-hmm.
anxiety. It was amazing. I just,
Awesome.
there was no fear
Okay.
of being enclosed. So when I got done, it just um, confirmed how all this works.
Right.
And so that was incredible.
Right. So
Definitely.
so what happened is that your conscious mind and your subconscious mind understood that that fear came from a past life. It
Hmm.
came that fear belonged to a different body. It was not going the same thing was not going to happen to you. So that phobia disappears. That is normally how it happens. People that have I don't know, pain in the neck or pain in the back, people that in a past life died because of they were shot. After they go back to that time, they relive that moment. That pain is gone. That is the way it works, and it is awesome. Um, but something else happens. I mean, you started doing different things now. You had a friend that had a deceased sister, right?
Yes.
Or a
Yes.
client that had a sister.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you want to tell
Yes.
us about it?
Yes. So she came in. She has been dealing with a lot of pain and sadness from the death of her sister.
Mm-hmm.
And so the night before, I did a long meditation. I had said, okay, I want to see a picture of her. Can you send it to me? So I meditated on her picture, and what came through me of this woman, a vibrant woman, but I saw her sitting on a table writing in a book.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw an older gentleman, which I assumed was probably her grandpa.
Okay.
And I saw balloons.
Wow. Okay.
And so anyway, long story is my client came in and she had brought some items and she started pulling a book out. And I said, I don't want to see anything. Just wait, just let me tell you. She goes, no, my sister was writing a book before she died. And I said, oh my gosh. And I said, okay, did your grandpa pass? Yes, because I felt like an older gentleman there. She goes, yeah, she put a long thing in this book right here about him. And then I said, okay, is there a birthday coming up? She said, yeah, my birthday's in a week. And I said, oh my gosh. And so as I'm talking,
Awesome.
we're bringing her sister in, and I felt this little animal besides me, and it was so crazy because I was just petting it like it was my, and I explained what it was, and she goes, oh my gosh, that was her dog when she was a teenager. So not only what I was realizing is everything that was going on, but my vision started to almost like a migraine. And this was an experiment that I thought, okay, well, let's try this. And I started seeing, I can't even explain, in front of my client, it was like all these energies around, and I couldn't see straight. So I think there was just so much coming forward.
Yeah, because you're like an open channel, and you can see and you can feel. So here's the interesting thing. Normally when somebody will come for this kind of reading, I want to say reading, but actually it's, let's say that if you're going to a psychic because you want to connect to a deceased relative, the spirit starts telling this psychic specific details that is going to validate the experience for the person that is coming for the psychic. But in this case, it was not only validating this for the sister, but it was also validating that for you because it was your first time doing this, and then as soon as he was saying yes, you were getting more and more and more information because you kept up opening, so which is good.
Which exactly, because I still had there's a part of me that is like, am I doubting, and there was still that little part, little, and but no, there's no more, none of that, and so I've been working with that a little bit more in connecting.
Awesome. Perfect. Yeah, and I remember that even during the session, we went to memories in your childhood where there was a spirit in your room that was watching over you,
Yes.
kind of protecting you.
Yes.
So, well, worry, you should keep doing this. And I tell everybody, whenever you have this kind of gift, this is to help other people.
Right.
And yeah, I say people, but also disembodied spirits. Help spirits. Some of them are lost, confused, they're afraid, they don't know what to do. Some people come to our sessions saying, I have this evil entity that is bothering me, doesn't allow me to sleep at night, and it's evil. I say, no, I don't believe in evil. There are spirits more evolved than others, but let's find out what's going on. And most of the time, it's a spirit that is trying to communicate with that person, to give her a message, or transmit something to them. Yeah, sometimes they might come together from a past life, but there's some forgiveness that need to be worked on. I have not found anything evil really in almost 6 years of doing this. So
and I
never
think,
be afraid.
Yeah, I think fear is what stops us from becoming who we are. So that's how we have fear in our society, fear everywhere. We can even be raised with fear as a young child.
Well, keep in mind, some religions Some religions are
Mhm.
based on fear about this, fear of God, fear of everything is fear, fear, fear. So
Right.
it is time to be free and overcome that fear.
Exactly.
All
And
we need is on the other side of fear. Fear is the strongest emotion. I always say this: is the strongest emotion that a
mhm.
human being can feel or experience, but it's just an
Mhm.
illusion. You know, just
Ab-
overcome that fear, and you
mhm.
can do this. A lot of people, and what I tell everybody is like, can everybody practice hypnosis? Yes, anybody can. Anybody can learn inductions and put people in a trance. True. What you
Yes.
do after that, not everybody can do it. You need not to be afraid, because if, let's say, somebody goes back to a past life where, like the one you had,
Yes.
and you're supposed to be taking care of your client and guide the session and just be calm and keep asking questions. If you're going to start freaking out with your client because you're afraid and you let fear control you, then what's going to happen to your client? So yeah,
Exactly.
you're going to be doing this no fear at all. Nothing happens.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah.
So Heidi, anything else you want to tell everybody that might be experiencing the same issues you were experiencing, or to the people that have the kind of gifts that you have, and maybe they're trying to block it, say no, 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 I don't want, because I found those people. I don't want to deal about this. I don't want to
Yes.
see spirits. I don't want to hear any voices. What would you tell to those people?
What I would tell them today is that uh, believe in yourself and know that there's going to be that little voice that doubts that comes in. You and say, "Oh, this is all crazy." Believe in yourself
Hmm.
and know that there's a reason for everything
Hmm.
of why you might be experiencing certain things, whether it's as an empath feeling things, intuitiveness, any type of um, paranormal experience. Just go with it and don't allow the fear to take over and control that. And a lot of times I believe that's probably ego coming in too.
Okay. Okay.
So just know that you're not unusual, you're not crazy. This is what you were meant to do.
Hmm.
And again, there's a reason why
Yeah,
this is coming to you.
people come
So,
to you, putting labels on you. You're schizophrenic,
mhm.
you're crazy, so talking about past lives and talking about experiences, you being ignorant. Just don't pay attention to any of that. If you have that gift, it's for a reason. And if
Right.
you have that gift, use it. Use it to help others.
hmm Because I believe everyone has some type of gift
We
within
all
them.
have.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's just getting to that point, and it's like ascending and
Mm-hmm.
learning through your life and other lifetimes.
Mm-hmm.
And once you hit that plateau, it's like when you go so far down, whether it's through pain or traumas, it's allowing you to become a bigger version of yourself,
Okay.
better part of yourself. So it's kind of like
Awesome.
that, just good getting over that.
Once you find your true self, you're gonna enjoy that, and it is awesome. Once you find what you're supposed to be doing in life, once you find what your mission is,
hmm
life is awesome.
And
It's
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 like a
great.
connection for everyone. You're teaching so that they can teach.
Yeah, and then you make great friends all over.
Exactly.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
hmm
Perfect.
Yeah.
Heidi, you also, yes, you had a session, but you do practice hypnosis. If people want to have a session with you, you're in Iowa, in Des Moines,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
If you want to have a session with you, do you want to give us your website? And I'll put it at the bottom of the stream
Yes.
anyway.
Yeah, it's a universal, SOUL,
Mhm.
connection.com.
.com. And your email?
And my email is reawakenlife@gmail.com.
Okay, awesome. You can
Mm-hmm.
also find Heidi in my practitioner directory if you go to antoniosangio.com, Antonio, SANGIO.com. Find a practitioner, you will find Heidi, and you can get in contact with her. I'm sure the sessions with her will be amazing with this beautiful gift that she has now.
Thank
Now,
you.
not that you have now, you always had it. Now you're acknowledging that you have it.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Heidi. So we're gonna say bye to everybody. I will stay with you a few more minutes to talk about a few more things. But let's say bye to everybody. Thank you, everybody, for
Okay.
watching.
Bye. Thanks
Bye.
for watching.
Bye.